Oh, you may know me already. My reputation has preceded me, perhaps. I'm Dr. Franklin, in Boston, but mostly in Philadelphia. And I am known as an author. Maybe you've read Poor Richard's Almanac, some of the sayings I've distributed among you. I'm a printer. I'm a political theorist, a politician, a scientist, a musician, an inventor, a civic activist, a statesman, and a diplomat. Perhaps you know that I invented many things, but I did not invent this, actually. I invented the lightning rod. I invented bifocals, which I am using at the moment. I invented a stove, which sits in the middle of the room, because the fireplace, all the heat goes up the chimney. What a silly waste of energy. So I moved the stove to the center of the room. It's now called after me the Franklin stove. And I've invented a glass harmonica. I also founded the first public lending library in the United States, because I believe that literacy is extremely important.
Right.
And that's how democracy will be achieved, when many people can read and get the information that they need. I also started the first fire department in Pennsylvania, and I was the ambassador to France, of course. I've always enjoyed making pithy comments, condensing large philosophical speculations into small sentences. My friend Voltaire, who I met in France, calls them my bon mot. You've probably heard some of them, like early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. You know that one. As I started looking back over my comments, I realized that they were all condensed into one line. They were one-liners. And so I decided that I will begin another career, a new career this evening, as a stand-up comedian. And so I will tell you some of these one-liners, and these are all things that I have written over the years. The first, a country man between two lawyers is like a fish between two cats. Man will occasionally stumble over the truth, but usually manages to pick himself up, walk over around it, and carry on. A learned blockhead is a greater blockhead than an ignorant one. He that lieth down with dogs shall rise up with fleas. We are all born ignorant, but one must work hard to remain stupid.
Oh, shoot.
The Constitution only gives people the right to pursue happiness. You have to catch it for yourself. He that is of the opinion that money will do everything may well be suspect of doing everything for money. Any fool can criticize, condemn, and complain. And most fools do. I see I have a career ahead of me.
Right.
A good conscience is a continual Christmas. Hunger is the best pickle.
What?
Guests, like fish, begin to smell after 3 days. I actually said all of these things at various times in my career. Many people die at 25 and aren't buried until they are 75. The art of acting consists in keeping people from coughing. The first mistake in public business is going into it. I haven't heard any coughing yet. I must be doing pretty well. 3 can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. Wine is constant proof that God loves us.
Yes.
And loves to see us happy. Democracy is like 2 wolves and a lamb voting on what to have for lunch. Liberty is a well-armed lamb contesting the vote. Well, I seem to be getting on a little bit in my age now, as happens to all of us. And so I will do a little section about aging, which is on my mind. I'm a bit preoccupied by it this time. By my rambling digressions, I perceive myself to be growing old. Everyone wants to live a long life, but nobody wants to grow old. Actually, I'm in the prime of senility. I don't so much mind being old, as I mind being fat and old. I wake up every morning at 9 and grab for the morning paper. Then I look at the obituary page. If my name is not on it, I get up. You can see that I have a promising career. I wanted to leave you with 3 more serious quotations, I guess you could say them. Just these are just things I say. It is the first responsibility of every citizen to question authority. Yeah. I used to tell that to George all the time. Where liberty is, there is my country. We're talking about a kind of a larger concept of patriotism now in the former colonies. And I definitely did say this as we were signing the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. I signed the Constitution as well. I signed many documents. I did say, we must indeed all hang together, or most assuredly, we shall all hang separately.
Right. Right.
And it's so good to see all these people hanging together, or hanging out, I think, as you say now. And I was thinking about patriotism. There are different kinds of patriots. There is what I call the conservative patriot. We had those during the Revolution. They supported the Loyalists, the king, of course. That was their allegiance. Many of them are now in Canada. And then there's the liberal patriot, who sees the future, who sees a broader vision. And the Richmond Progressive Alliance, which is why I'm here, is that kind of liberal patriot. So I always encourage moderation and virtue. I have tried in my own life to curb bad habits as much as I can. And I've heard that you have a campaign with the same intent. A campaign against obesity by taxing excessive white sugar in soda drinks. And I certainly hope that sugar is not made by slave labor in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't know if you know that I freed my slaves when I came back from France. And I was one of the ones that fought for abolition. I believe it's a pernicious philosophy. Unfortunately, I do know the problem of obesity myself. And so, as I used to say, it is much easier to prevent bad habits than to break them. And so I entirely applaud your efforts here in Richmond to try to change the bad habits, especially of the younger people, when they are forming them. And as you know, I myself am a doctor, and I would like to introduce another doctor who will explain more about this campaign, a true patriot, Dr. Jeff Ritterman.